There's love here. Don't be afraid, come. Listen. I know what it means to be broken. I know what it means to feel alone. I know what it means to feel so empty inside that you don't even want to live. Some of you in this place are broken tonight. And you need Jesus. You don't need another pill. You don't need another relationship. You don't need another razor blade. You don't need the internet. Tonight you need Jesus. You've tried everything else, and it left you wanting. It left you empty. Some of you, it left you more empty than you've ever been. I couldn't care less about being a rock star. I'm more concerned about being a good husband to my wife and a good father to my kids. But the reason that we do this is because we believe in a living God that puts broken people back together again. And I'm telling you that tonight, there's somebody in this building, and your life is going to be changed forever. Maybe you've been abused like Sharif was abused for 12 years of his life and couldn't defend himself because he was just a kid. But God healed him and restored his soul. Maybe you've been addicted, whatever it is. Maybe you've been raised in church your whole life, but you feel like you don't even know God. With every head bowed and every eye closed in this place tonight. I'm going to ask this tonight, and once again, no one's looking at you. But I feel like there's somebody in here tonight and you had already made the decision to commit suicide. You weren't crying out for help anymore. You say, who even hears me cry? And you had already made the decision to end your life. And maybe your best friends had no idea that you were going to end it all. Maybe your parents or your brothers or sisters had no idea. But you had already made the decision that you were done living, and you're here tonight and you can honestly tell me, I don't think I'd be alive another day. I don't know if I could have made it another day or another week. With every head bowed and every eye closed, I'm begging you to be honest with me and just put your hand in the air if that's you. God bless you, and God bless you, and God bless you. You can put your hands down. Your life is worth living. And I don't care what anybody tells you. You're worth it. You're worth it. And God has a plan for your life. I started using drugs when I was 14 years old. And by the age of 21 years old, I had a $400 a day cocaine addiction. I'm a 4-time convicted felon. And my last time down, I was looking at 10 years in prison. I know what it means to hurt. I know what it means to be abused. I was abused by a babysitter. I know what it means to feel like nobody's on your side. My father used to beat my mother. As a matter of fact, that was the only memories that I had of my father growing up, was him beating my mother 10 feet away from me. And that was the image that was engraved in my mind. Not fishing trips, not soccer practice, but my mother bloody laying on the living room floor or the kitchen floor. That was the last time I could remember seeing my dad. I was 3.5 years old. I met him again as a teenager, and I hated him. And I don't think he was that fond of me. I didn't believe in God. And even if there wasn't God, what would he want with a worthless drug addict like me? But my mother would pray for me every single night. And she would tell me, son, he loves you and he can change your life, son. This is the mother I stole from, the mother that filed bankruptcy because of my drug addiction. A single mother with perfect credit, no child support. Had to file bankruptcy because of my drug addiction. But she said, son, he can still change your life. And in the back of an ambulance, I gave my life to Jesus after a suicide attempt. I'm here to tell you tonight that God has a plan for you. And if I would have died then, I would have never got to meet my wife or my 3 beautiful kids. You're here tonight and you say, I know what it means to go to church. I know what it means to go to youth group. I know what it means to go to small group. Or you say, but some way, somehow I ended up so far away from God, and I just want to come back to the place where I first met you, Jesus. Come back to the place where I first fell in love with you, but I don't know how. And maybe it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend and you've been doing things you know aren't right. Maybe it's drugs. Maybe it's alcohol or some other addiction that's got a hold of you. You say, I need to come back into the arms of Jesus. Maybe you're not a teenager at all and you're struggling with some things. Maybe you're married, but you don't know how much longer you're going to be married. And on the outside, it looks like you've got the perfect life and the perfect marriage. And when people walk up to you at the grocery store, you grab hands and you smile and you say, oh, we're fine, but you're lying. Your marriage is falling apart. When the doors are closed, you can barely even look at each other. Days go by without you even talking to each other. It's because God is not at the center of your relationship. You are. Maybe you're a pastor or a worship leader or a deacon in the church or an elder in the church or on the building committee or on the baking bread committee, whatever your title is, but your serving God has replaced you knowing God. And you can tell us everything there is to know about the house of God, but you are desperately missing the God of the house. You've traded in your relationship with Jesus for his work. He says he wants his relationship back tonight. He says he's not concerned with your powerful position. He says he's not concerned with whether or not your name tag says staff on it. All he wants to know tonight is, will you humble yourself? Because if you will, he says he'll heal your marriage. If you will, he says he'll heal your ministry. If you will, he says he'll heal your addiction. If you will, he says he'll change your very life in this place tonight. Your cutting, your eating disorder, your depression, your brokenness. He wants you to lay it at the altar tonight. If God begins to speak to you, I don't care if you got friends here that you're a little embarrassed that they can see you come to this altar. It doesn't matter. It's not about them. It's about you tonight. And tonight, you've got to make things right with God. Whether you're 14 or 45. As we sing, I want you to just begin to come and drop to your knees if you feel like you need to come.